Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It's been a while since we recorded the last podcast. Das was in Punjab for a good part of a month, and we had a lot of experiences there, which I'll share probably in the next podcast. But today is all going to be about the experiences that and the teachings that Bhagat Jaswant Singh Ji gave me in particular. Because there's a lot of Singhs and Singhniya that spent a lot of time with Bhagat Ji, and they've got a lot out of it, a lot more than I have. And I just feel blessed for the time that I had. I feel thankful and blessed कि जेह्ड़ा time महापुरखा ने सानू दित्ता साढ़े ते दया कीती, it's unbelievable. And really, you can't describe Bhakti Ji. Every single person has an unbelievable experience with Bhakti Ji. There's so many people that Bhakti Ji has touched. Just yesterday after, or the day before after they passed away, just like seeing the Sangat ki ਕਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਟੱਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਵੇ ਵਿੱਚ, it's like ਇੰਝ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹਨਾ ਕਿ like I feel like everyone thinks ਕਿ Bhagat Ji is our best friend, right? That's the feeling that Bhagat Ji gave everyone, right? Is ਕਿ Bhagat Ji ਸਾਡੇ ਹੀ ਆ, Bhagat Ji ਸਾਡੇ ਹੀ best friend ਆ, right? He is ours. And I feel like everyone has that feeling. And I'm going to go through just a little bit of what Bhagat Ji has done for me. And a lot of this stuff I don't think I've ever shared with anyone, like even my wife, my parents, no one. I don't think I've told a single person a lot of these things. Some of them I have, but not many people. And your experiences, I will cherish those forever. As long as I have ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, I cannot forget. And I will have to do my best ਕਿ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੀਵ ਬਿਹਾਈਂਡ ਕੀਤੇ, ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਲੀਵ ਬਿਹਾਈਂਡ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, we carry those on. ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ our best ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੂਰਾ ਜੋਰ ਲਾਈਏ, and we don't get stuck in Maya, right? And really what I'm trying to do right now is something that I contemplated. Is like, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਚੱਲੇ ਆ, are you able to do that? And the answer is no, you're not, I'm not. So when I say you or us, I'm talking about myself. ब्रह्म ज्ञानी की मत कौन बखानै, ब्रह्म ज्ञानी की गाते ब्रह्म ज्ञानी जानै, right? Only a Brahma Gyani can know a Brahma Gyani, can describe a Brahma Gyani. So I'm not going to try to describe Bhagat Ji, but I'm going to just talk about ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ experiences ਹੋਏ with Bhagat Ji and how much Bhagat Ji gave us in such a short amount of time. Like with Bhagat Ji, I think I spent less than maybe 1,000 hours with Bhagat Ji in total. Like if you take all the time that I was with Baba Ji personally, like one-on-one, I think it's probably less than 1,000 hours, maybe 1,000 hours at most. And I can't even begin to imagine those amazing Gursikhs who have got the opportunity to spend years with Bhagat Ji and spend lots of time and do real seva with Bhagat Ji. ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਸੇਵਾ ਤਾਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਸੁਣੇ ਆ ਐਂਡ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਲਾਈਫ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, but those small things have completely altered our lives, right? And when we were going to the Asthan after Baba Ji had passed away, you just saw all the Sangat that Bhagat Ji had touched. So many different people, kinne their lives changed kittiyan Bhagat Ji ne in so many different ways. And everyone feels that relationship with Bhagat Ji is like so special, right? Like Bhagat Ji is our best friend, Bhagat Ji sade hi hai, right? And everyone had that feeling. And oh cheez hai na, like it's unbelievable, because when you would go to Bhagat Ji, it was just pure love, it was pure prem. You can't really describe that, right? And it's something that ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ experience ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ, ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਵਾਹ, there's nothing like this, right? ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਆ, that's nothing. It's really nothing compared to that. And I did write down a few notes because I didn't want to be rambling and going all over the place. I kind of want to go through step by step, but it would be difficult to do it without writing it down. And even though, like, in the past 10 years I said 1,000 hours, and really it was 2015 when I met Bhagat for the first time. Since then, I don't think there's been a day that I haven't thought about them. Not just thought about them, but something comes up, something happens, ਵਕਾਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉੱਥੋਂ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਚੇਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਚੇਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਟੈਕਨੀਕ ਚੇਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. I don't think there's been a day where Bhagat ji hasn't been on my mind. And most of that, unfortunately, has been Bhagat ji ne aa kiya si aa nahi karna and you're doing that, or Bhagat ji ne kiya si aah karo and you haven't done it yet. So hopefully within this lifetime ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ we can live the way that Bhagat ji has told us to live. I can live the way that Bhagat ji has told us to live. But also those things, it's not just that, it's just protection in so many ways. Bhagat ji's simple lesson, they would give the simplest lessons and they would stick with you, like, and they wouldn't leave you. And they haven't left me yet. For 10 years they haven't left me, and I don't think they'll ever leave me. Is just simple lessons, like just the simplest lessons. Like I'll go through a few, but later on, but just even like parta roop na pekhe netar, don't look at women, hana bibiyan wal nahi dekhna. No one had ever told us that before. No one, even now when I go to the gurdwaras, I don't see that message being shared with anyone. I don't see any of the youth being told that. We go to the youth camps. I don't think anyone in the youth camps is saying that, right? ਉਹ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ simple ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ. Or like be the 10 gurus wife, right? If someone says say hey mister, I'm your sister, just simple rhymes that Bhagat ji would say ki like ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਰਹਿਣਾ, right? These things will come to kill you. You have to stay away from them and protect yourself. So ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਤੁਕਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮੈਮੋਰਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਾਈਆਂ ਕਈਆਂ, those come and protect you like armor, right? And that armor is the most amazing thing. The other thing I was thinking is just Bhagat ji, like Bhagat ji would go and stand and start doing speeches, and he would just try to give everyone everything, and like he couldn't give enough, and he was giving and giving, and ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਥੱਕ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, like listening ਹੀ ਥੱਕ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. We couldn't absorb how much they were trying to give us, right? It's like ਜਿਵੇਂ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਦੇਦਾ ਦੇ ਲੈਦੇ ਥੱਕ ਪਾਏ, right? It's exactly that. He just kept giving. ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ like receiving it ਹੀ ਥੱਕ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, right? And like if I would had one, like I don't know if it's one word to describe Bhagat ji, is it's probably like jiਵੇਂ ਬੇਪਰਵਾਹ, right? Not a care in the world. Well, obviously there is a care in the world for Sikhi and all of the Sikhi stuff, but anything else, like Bhagat ji just lived the way he wanted to live and nothing else. Sikhi ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੀ life he was the slave of Guru Granth Sahib ji. He was the wife of the Dasang Gurua, right? The beloved wife and the dear slave of the 10 Gurus, Bhagat Jaswant Singh. I would say that's, if I had to describe Bhagat ji, that would be the one sentence to describe it. ਜਿਹੜੇ Bhagat ji ਨਾਲ ਰਹੇ ਆ, they know those aren't just words. Bhagat ji lived that every single day. Bhagat ji lived how to be a jeev roop istri, right? How to have prem with your isht, right? ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਈਆਂ, and he did it every day. Bhagat ji also, like, he didn't play favorites or play politics or anything like that, right? ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਸੀਗਾ. ਭਾਵੇਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਆਇਆ or whoever came, everyone got the same love, right? There is no politics like ਇਹ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਆ. There was none of that. It was just equal. From what I experienced, it was equal pyar. So the first time I met Bhagji was the 2015 SYF camp, as what it was called. Now it's called the Experience Sikhi Camp. And over time, I was very scared. I was like, everyone was telling me like, oh, this Mahaburkh is coming. They did seva of Sant Bhagat Singh Ji, Khalsa Pindran Wale, and I didn't know what to think, right? But I was very scared. And really, why I was scared was because up until that point in Sikhi, anyone that I had experienced that was like a so-called Gyani or Granthi or whatever, they would either try to test you or quiz you or put you down in some kind of way, right? Like I don't want to say necessarily that, but like you didn't feel necessarily like accepted or safe, right? But in that type of environment. But when Bhakti met me, he met me with so much love, and I was just blown away. Ki, like, why? Like, also I was very afraid because ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਮੀ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕ੍ਰੋਧੀ ਹਾਂ, ਹਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਭ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਮਾਇਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਫਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ. I know the thoughts that I have. I know what I deal with, right? Especially at that time, what I was dealing with. And Bhakti knows those too. And I knew he knows those. I know he knows my inside out. And I was afraid of that, right? I was afraid that he knows all of that. And despite all of that, they met me with so much love. And what Bhakti said, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਥਾਪੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੀ ਕਹੀ, ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁੱਕ ਕਹੀ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਤ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਕਾਮੀ, ਤਿਸ ਕੋ ਹੋਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਸੁਆਮੀ. That's the talk that Bhagji said in my ear, ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਥਾਪੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ. After that moment, it was like everything was on autopilot. Like ਸਾਰਾ ਸਰੀਰ autopilot ਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਆਪੇ ਹੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ. And I couldn't stop for 5 days straight. And I was waking up at 1 o'clock, almost the same time every day, a little bit before 1 o'clock every single day, without an alarm, no alarm. And before that, like I hadn't woken up for Amrit Vela necessarily. Like I used to wake up relatively early, but not like Amrit Vela early, like not at that time. And I was waking up by myself, everything autopilot. Like if you drove in the Tesla autopilot where it drives itself, it felt like that, where it was like everything was happening, no thinking needed, just ਸਰੀਰ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ 5 ਦਿਨ straight. And I kept hearing the talk that Bhagji said, ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਤ ਹੋਵੇ ਨੇ ਕਾਮੀ, ਤਿਸ ਕੋ ਹੋਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਸੁਆਮੀ, just over and over and over again. And it had just become like, just do seva. And it was happening by itself, right? Like ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਸੀਗੀ. I was sleeping maybe 3-4 hours maximum, but the body wasn't tired, I wasn't hungry, I wasn't thirsty. It was just happening on its own. And it was such a unique experience. ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਨਾ power ਸੀ, like just not even just inna power, like there was that much and even more power ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਥਾਪੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ. And that was my first experience with Baba Ji. But those 5 days, like I'll never forget ਕਿ ਉਹ just ਉਹ ਥਾਪੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਬਚਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਸੀਗਾ, right? ਕਿ it just started and the seva just didn't stop, right? Then at night I didn't get tired, didn't feel anything. And everyone knows what they're capable of, right? Like you know what you can do, and I wasn't capable of that. Even talking, like the stuff I'm saying now, either we never capable hai, ye bhi Bhakt Ji di bakshish. Sing strength in itself is Bhakt Ji's bakshish, right? Getting the Singhs to exercise, work out, right? This is just Bhakt Ji gave us this, right? ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫੌਰਨੇ ਆਉਣੇ ਆ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਰਕਆਊਟ ਕਰਾਉਣੇ, ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ, ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ, ਇਹ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਦਾਤ ਮਿਲੀ ਵੀ ਆ. And after that, the next time, I think a few months, I'm not really sure of the timeline of this, but a few months maybe had passed by, and I wanted to go see Bhakt Ji. It was in my mind. And on the same day, 2 Singhs told me separately, you should go see Bhagat Ji for no reason, at all. Like it's not like I had told them something or I was talking. And ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, like this stuff happens, I think it happens to everyone, but it happens to me quite a bit, where I take those signs as this is a message, right? I don't read into it. I just take it as it is, and ਉੱਥੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਮਨ ਬਣਾ ਲਿਆ ਕਿ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ. And again, very scared to go see Bhagat Ji. That, like, even at that camp, like I was doing seva the whole time. I didn't spend much time with Bhagat Ji, like one-on-one, right? Bhagat Ji, the workshops attend ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ, but didn't spend much time with them one-on-one. It was just seva, right? And then the same thoughts had come into my mind, like Bhagat Ji knows my inside out, right? Like I'm so scared to go see them, right? Like ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਣ ਹਨਾ, ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ, like what if he like tells me off or something, right? What if he tests me or like lectures me or like says like you're not doing this, and at this time they were in the Vankirk area, and they were doing like a lot of Saj parts. So like they would go to like a house, do a Saj part, then go to the next house, and at that time I think they spent like a couple months in that Vankirk area ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ. And what Bhagat Ji showed me is like none of that test, nothing, just pure love. The love ki hega, right? Like he had no expectation of me, no conditions, no nothing, didn't want anything from me. He was just happy to see me, see me, that I was there, right? And Bhagat Ji then, I remember this like it's like yesterday, like ਅੱਜ ਵੀ like not even yesterday, like it's happening today, right? Like Bhagat Ji takes me into the room, like Bhagat Ji's like ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ ਕੀਤਾ, right? And I was like ਨਹੀਂ, I've never done ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ. And Bhagat Ji then he shows me how to wash my hands, how to wash my feet, ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, right? ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਣਾ, right? How to take the Ramalla Sahib off. And then Bhagat Ji tells me, you're about to receive all the gifts, right? Sare gift tenu hun main lag gaya. And I was like, that feeling, I'm taking an attempt to describe stuff that can't be described, right? But ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ experience ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ, right? Bhagat Ji ਦੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਦਾਤ ਸੀਗੀ. And Bhagat Ji then goes and puts on the tape, and I follow along the Saj part. But Bhagat Ji doesn't come back into the room. They don't come back to tell me like, okay, hun aaja, hun, this is done, right? Like you're done. It's probably been like 2 or 3 hours. I don't know how long it was. Maybe it was 1 hour, and I felt like it was 4 hours. But it felt like a long time. And Das di Guru Sahib di kirpa hegi hai ki like I am like ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਬਚਨ ਮੰਨ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਇੱਕ like if something starts, like I don't give up quickly. So it might have been 2 or 3 hours, maybe 3 hours, and that's for the first time. It was quite a lot, but Bhagat Ji never came. So like ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੱਗ ਗਏ, right? I don't know if there was a test, like if they wanted to see if I would stay the whole night doing part. That would be something else. I wish I could do that, but I didn't. And then I came the next day, and then Bhagat Ji wrote down my phone number on a book and my name, right? And then they would start like calling us. They would call us, and like I started going like every day. At that time, I think just finished university, and I didn't get a job yet, so I was going every day. And Bhagat Ji would call us, and they would be like, "I love you, aaja mere kole," right? And like that, I love you is. No one can say that like they did, right? They actually loved you when they said it. I have this voice recording. I can't find it, and it's a huge regret. Ki there's a voice recording where Bhagat Ji is saying like "Aja, I love you. Come here." They would like call us like "Aj ithe paath da bhog pauna sade ko sing hai nahi, come," right? Like these are just excuses just to get us to go see Baba Ji, right? Like they were just bringing us in, and it was quite the time, right? And I learned a lot in that time. Like I learned so much. And Babaji used to be like, stay with me, right? Like, mere na reh. And I'd just make up excuses like, mere ko kashera hai nahi. Babaji's like, main tenu kashera de dena. And then really at the end of the day, I knew like, if I stay with Bhagji, I'm not going back home. I'm not going to return, right? And I couldn't leave my parents at that time. I don't know how my life would have turned out. I I'd be surprised if I didn't get mukti in this lifetime if I had stayed with Babaji. But uh, who knows what would have happened? And you can't think about that, right? You got to live life without that regret, but make the opportunity of the future. What's going to happen, right? And Bhagji ne inna prem kita, right? And everything they would teach us is like just so practical, so simple, and it would be effective right away, right? Like we would be able to use these things right away. I would be able to use these things, and, and I'm gonna share a few of them, like jide practical examples of jide every day menu protect kar rahe hai. And the first one is Praya Roop, right? No one, like I said before, no one had told me like Praya Roop nahi dekhna, Gurdware vich kisi camp vich nahi kiya. No one says this. And Bhagji would have on the Pankti board, they would have Dekh Praiyan Changiyan, Mama Pehna Tiyan Jane, and you would just repeat it, Kalli Kalli Lag Karke repeat karna. And then they would tell us like all these things like Jo Bibi Ai Thalle Dekhna, right? Just look at the ground, minimize communication, right? Like, don't get close to a BP, because when you get close to someone, फिर थोड़े ना मोह हो जाता, right? And then when you get मोह, that opens the door to calm, right? These are things that no one tells anyone, right? Like अपने गौरदोरियां में no one tells these, and these are the first time I was hearing it, right? And it was like blind moving for me, because like, okay, like now I have guidelines. Now I have like, okay, this is what I shouldn't do, right? And just going back to before, right? Bhagji doesn't connect people. Like, उन्होंने आप दे आप नहीं किसी ਨੂੰ connect ਕੀਤਾ. They connected everyone with Guru Granth Sahib Ji, right? Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Guru ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਨਾ connect ਕੀਤਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ. No one to himself. And even him saying like, come stay with me, that was just, he wanted to do pala for me. He wanted to do what was in my best interest for me. I couldn't take advantage of that, right? But he gave me so much more. Like he explained these things, like even to that point where it's like, where does calm start from? Calm starts from looking at yourself, right? So Bhagji's like, don't look in the mirror, right? Calm starts from looking at yourself. Ki, I'm so beautiful, I'm this, right? And that's where it starts from. So just those things, right? Like, they give you ways to fight the vikar, right? Otherwise, banda the helpless, right? Panj vikar, they will beat the shit out of you, right? Every single day, if you don't have someone telling you how to fight, right? Like, it's like if you're going into a fight as an untrained fighter against a black belt, right? And not just one black belt, you got to go fight 5 black belts. And if you don't have a wizard on your side, right? Like a complete master, जिन्होंने 5 vikar जीते, right? You have no hope, right? So that armor and protection that Bhagji provides has been extremely helpful, right? Again, Bhagji, I never heard anyone in the Gurdwara even talk about health, right? Health is important. We just go to the Gurdwara, kheer khane, pakode khane, jalebiyan khane, right? Bhagji always talked health. Health would be the first thing, right? Like someone comes to Bhagji, the first condition is always food-related conditions, right? If you want to learn from Bhagji, it's food-related conditions. Fix your food, right? Do exercise with Simran, right? Bhagji loved exercise. Exercise Simran na karo, bani gao, eat good food, right? Sikhi and food have a spiritual connection. No one talks about that, right? No one says ki food te Sikhi da koi connection bhi hega. I know from my personal experience, when I'm exercising, when I'm eating well, I'm closer, I'm doing much better in my Sikhi. When I don't have those things, there's a disconnect, right? Sikhi, the eating, the exercise, and a big connection, right? How you take care of your body, because the body is the horse which your soul rides on, right, to get to Sachkhand. And you have to take care of this body, right? And a body is also the gift of God, right? ਆਪਾਂ ਜੇ gift of God ਨੂੰ abuse ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ, ਆਪਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, it's a disservice to the gift that we've been given, right? If you gave someone a beautiful car as a gift and they went around scratching it up and ruining it, it wouldn't feel great. But if they took very good care of that car, and sometimes even better care than you gave it to them, and they would be very happy, right? So ਜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸਰੀਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਉਹਦਾ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. Baba Ji would also just give us like general advice, like driving safety, right? It's like stuff that just like it just helps you. Like if someone cuts you off, don't get angry. If there's a red light, just be patient. Don't be in a rush while you're driving. Like do Simran while you're driving. And then they would do the pankti jobs on the board, right? Do tukka board te, when you're eating, look at these panktiyan, read these panktiyan, right? Just like simple ones like Frida bore da pala kar kare gussa mane na handaye dehi rog na lagai palle sab kech paye. So Babaji would make us do that kalli kalli lag. And then you do that practically, right? You get mad at someone and then you go do something in their benefit and you feel so much better. And you feel, not only do you not feel angry at that person, you immediately just let go of it. But when you hold on to that, that's what causes like illnesses and suffering in your body. And वो चीज़ बाबा जी ने सानू समझाई, संतोख बारे समझाया, बिना संतोख नहीं को राजा, राइट? कहो नानक सब तेरी वडियाई, कोई नाउ न जाने मेरा, संतोख निम्रता. So when you, like, these things become automatic, right? Like when you be dekhde automatically nimi, right? Automatically pankti in the brain. Guru Granth Sahib Ji sending you bani right away. Dekh praiyan changiyan maawa pena tiyan jawe, right? You lose your santokh, bina santokh nahi ko raja, straight to your mind, right? Other things that Babaji shared with us, like that I had never heard of before, is Guru Granth Sahib Ji is not just Sikhan de Guru. Guru Granth Sahib Ji is for everyone, and we need to share Guru Granth Sahib Ji with them. Guru Granth Sahib Ji is here to help the whole world pass through Kaljug, right? Guru Granth Sahib Ji is Jagat Guru. We need to spread the message and not just keep it to us. Spread to the Sikhs, Sikh pure Sikh banao, Singh banao, Kaur banao, right? And then spread it across the world. And they will also become Singhs and Kaurs, right? And Bhagat Ji's like love for Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it's just you have to see it, right? Jam Bhagat Ji, before his stroke, Bhagat Ji would watch Bhagat Ji would just keep doing prakarma, right? Aapa hun ek prakarma karde hain, Bhagat Ji would do hundreds of prakarma of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, right? They just keep doing prakarma. They would like prema bhakti, right? Like becoming like Guru Sahib's wife, like thinking of themselves as Guru Sahib's wife, living in Guru Sahib's agya, jeda vi Guru da hukam, ohi manana, nothing else, nothing more, right? Thinking of no one else but Guru Sahib, right? That's really what a wife is, right? Wife is ki they only see one. There's only one male in the whole world, and that's their husband, right? And that's how Bhagat Ji was. Ki Guru Granth Sahib Ji, there's nothing else. There's just one. And one of the really cool things that Guru said, and it's like so practical, Bhagat Ji always used to be like, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਨਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਆ ਫੋਨ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ's phone. Like just start using, like Guru Nanak's camera is recording us right now, Guru Nanak's iPad has the notes on it, right? Guru Nanak's mic, Guru Nanak's voice is making us talk, right? Then you start like automatically stop thinking of things as yourselves, but Guru Nanak's, right? ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਮੋਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੀ ਆ, ਇਟਸ ਨੋ ਲੋਂਗਰ ਯੋਰਸ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੋਹ ਨਹੀਂ, ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦਾ ਘਰ ਆ, ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦਾ ਆਹ ਹੈਗਾ. Then the other thing is you remember Guru Nanak Dev Ji, right? ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰੈਂਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਦੈਟ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਬਿਗੇਸਟ ਥਿੰਗ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਸੋਹਣਿਆ ਪੇਖਿਆ ਸੇ ਫੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਬਾਸ ਨਾ ਪਰਿਆ ਰੇ. But those that have seen Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they don't need to come back onto this planet. They don't need to come back into human life. And ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, right? And the other thing is like even like getting to the point where like saying Guru Sahib ਦੀ ਇਹ body ਆ, right? Guru Sahib ਦਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਆ, Guru Sahib ਦੀ ਇਹ ਹੈਗਾ, it takes away your homme, right? Homme ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਦੂਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ, ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਹੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, right? You start to lose that worry, like this is Guru Sahib's, then why do I need to worry? It's Guru Sahib's, right? Like you don't worry about other people's stuff, Guru Sahib, but you also take care of it because it is Guru Sahib's. Another one of the bachan that really stick with me is like, and Bhakti said in Kaljug it is harder, but it is also easier. He said in Kaljug it is also the easiest path to get mukti, but it is also the hardest, right? And it's very important to understand that, right? Because when we say easiest path, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਆ and we can achieve salvation, right? Whereas like if you look at like Satyug, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਸੀ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਤਪ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਸੀ. It was very difficult. Whereas in Kaljug it's very easy, right? You just have to do like naam japna. Naam japna is very hard, but it is also it is easier in some ways as well. And you get a lot more reward for that, right? So Bhakti explained that to us, like in the sense that Bhakti really understood media. They really understood technology. ਉਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਇੰਪੈਕਟ ਹੈ. ਐਂਡ ਲਾਈਕ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ अर्ਲੀ ਔਨ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸੰਤ ਗੁਰਬਚਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪਿੰਡਰਾਂ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਦੈਟ ਦ ਹੋਲ ਵਰਲਡ ਯੂਜ਼ਸ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਕਥਾ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਡੇ. ਸੋ ਇਫ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਡਿਡਨਟ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ, ਰਾਈਟ, like why would he have done that? Bhakti really understood technology and understood the impact. Because on one side, right, like jab tu praya roop dekhna, right now, like back in the day, like 100, 200 years ago, you had to leave your house to do that, right? Now you don't have to go anywhere. Tere phone te sara duniya da, like everything comes to your phone, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, but the very good can also come, right? Like now I don't have to go to like India to go listen to a divan or stay with some Mahaprabhu. I can listen to 10 different Mahaprabhu at the same time, right? Whereas like that was physically not possible back in the day. I can listen to Vade Mahaprabhu Katha, I can listen to another Katha, I can listen to another Katha, I can listen to Kirtan, I can listen to all of that sitting at home, right? So in that sense, it is much easier in Kaljug, right? Bhakti has all his pothiyan, you can listen to them online, gursevik.com, Gurbani Unlimited app. You can download those and you can start doing that. Or you can spend your time on YouTube and Netflix and waste your time in that way scrolling is the biggest disease that we have. It's something that is going to fry your brains, especially I see little kids just scrolling and they have no attention span, right? You're never going to achieve sahaj and santokh and all that stuff if we scroll, right? But listening to another Basics of Sikhi podcast, it's the thing that is the parent and the Sikh parenting course, and they were saying when you scroll away your Sikhi, right? And that's 100% true, right? Scrolling the jodi aadat, it needs to be you got to do your best to get rid of that, right? And then Bhakti would tell us stuff like, मैं हुन हिरजे च मूँह च अमृत आ रहा मेरे, right? Like no one's ever told me that before. Like you can get amrit in your own body, right? Like I've met some people now that have told me, yeah, you can do that, but like before that, no one told me that like this was an actual experience, right, that they're having. And even like just going into the astan, right? Like I would have all these questions and doubts in my mind, and then I would read the Pankti board and that would answer my question, right? Like it happens like thousands of times, not thousands of times, hundreds of times, maybe tens of dozens of times. And even like one time in my mind at night time, right? Like I just heard say Kanaiya, where Sant Harnam Singh Ji is saying ki they had the Sheath Singhs come and tell them not to read Chandi Diwar at night, right? And yeah, 100%. We should listen to Sant Harnam Singh Ji, right? Like we shouldn't do anything else. But in my mind, like I was like, okay, like I wonder if that's real or not, right? And I go into Bhagji's Astan, right? Like I don't know how many times I've heard Bhagji listen to Chandi Diwar. I don't know if it's a lot, but I walk into the Astan and it's probably less than a handful of times. And I Bhagji's listening to Chandi Diwar the part, right, at night. I'm not saying we should do that. But Brahmagyanis can do whatever they want, but that's just one example, right? Like, what kind of a coincidence was that? But I would probably stick to Satharnam Singh Ji's bachan, and not my experience on this one, um, unless you want to be visited by Sheet Singh. Uh, which I don't know, that might be a good example. That might not be a bad thing. Uh, so the way like the teachings that Bhakti gave us, the way like I think about it is like sometimes you get like really bad tape and you just keep on taping something and it still doesn't stick, or keep on putting on glue and it doesn't stick. And then sometimes you get like something like crazy glue and it's like you need a little bit and it sticks right away and it's not going to leave forever. That's how I feel like Bhakti was, right? Like you don't is sorry like you don't need to apply a lot. It's going to work and it's going to stick to you, right? And it's going to provide tremendous protection, right? Without even like thinking too much or doing too much effort, ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਨਾ stick ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ. Whereas like you can go do other stuff, and like I've probably listened to like some kathas like maybe 5 or 6 times and I still don't remember what happened in them, right? Like I know a little bit, but like I can't tell you what's going on. But whereas like something that Bhakti would tell me is like it just sticks with me, and it's like a simple thing. It's like sometimes it's even in the form of a joke. Like Bhakti loved to later in his life joke around. I think the things that like Bhakti that stay with Bhakti earlier, like I think they said that Bhakti was a little more like serious, but like the Bhakti version that we got, like the older Bhakti was a very loving and like fun, joking mastana guy, right? It was amazing. Um, and I will cherish his memory with me and make sure that we keep Bhakti's memory alive and strong and their seva alive and strong. Guru Sahib di kirpa na, because nothing happens without Guru Sahib di kirpa, right? Guru Sahib hi karaunde at that time when I was with Bhakti, my biggest worry was finding a good job, right? Like, and this is a lot of people's worry, right? After university, it's like, I need to find a good job. And if you think about it, right, like you had went to school since you're like 4 or 5 years old for this moment to be done school and then get a job, right? So there's kind of that pressure is like, okay, like I need to get a job after doing all of this studying and education. If I don't get a job, it's not really great, right? So like there is a little bit of that pressure. So ਮੇਰੇ mind ਤੇ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਬੋਝ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਵਧੀਆ job ਲੱਭੀਏ, start working, right? It had been a couple of months since I didn't work, and at that same time, right, Bhakti, we were doing a lot of Shiddi job, right? Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shiddi, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Shiddi. If you guys don't know Shiddi job, it's like it's the remembrance of Guru Sahib Shiddi and Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shiddi, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Shiddi, and the whole point is like ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਜਪਦੇ ਆ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਾ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਜਪਿਓ ਜਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਗੁਰੂ ਫਿਰ ਸੰਕਟ ਜੋਨ ਕਰ ਬਣਾਇਓ, right? You don't come back into this form, you don't have to go into the mother's womb ever again, which is the greatest pain of all, right? And that's something I dearly want to avoid. And now I know that Shiddi Jap alone can get you very close to that, right? Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shiddi Yaad Kare. But at that time, my biggest worry was just getting a job, right? Getting a job at a good company. So I got one interview at a very good company, TJX. They're one of the biggest retailers in the world. And I got one interview. That's the only interview I got out of university. The interview to pehla I just did Shiddi job, right? Shiddi job kiti. I got the job. Very good job. And anything else, like ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ I wanted or ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ, it just started happening automatically, right? Shiddi ਜਪ ਕੇ. And the ਨਿਆਵੀ things are one thing, but the spiritual game, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, right? You can also get those, and those are way more powerful. And that's what you want, right? You want the next level. But we were just starting out, right? So Guru Sahib gave us the other things as well. The Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shiddi is like this: Tan Han, Tan Han, Tan Han, Sache Satguru, Vaheguru, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Tan Han, ਹੁਣ ਉਬਲਦੀ ਦੇਗ 'ਚ ਚੌਂਕੜਾ ਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਹੁਣ ਮੱਚਦੇ ਮੱਚਦੇ ਰੇਤੇ 'ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਮੱਚਦਾ ਮੱਚਦਾ ਰੇਤਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਮ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਪਰਮ ਪੂਜਨੀਕ ਸ਼ੁਭ ਸੱਚੇ ਸੁੱਚੇ ਮਹਾਨ ਪਰਉਪਕਾਰੀ ਸੀਸ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਅਤੇ ਪਵਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਹੁਣ ਮੱਚਦੇ ਮੱਚਦੇ ਲੋਹ 'ਤੇ ਖੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਤੇਰਾ ਕੀਆ ਮੀਠਾ ਲਾਗੈ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਪਦਾਰਥ ਨਾਨਕ ਮੰਗੈ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ. And in that way, you would remember Guru Arjan Dev Ji giving Shidi as they are giving it right now, right? Hon. And that's how you, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਰਗੁਣ ਸਰੂਪ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰਗੁਣ ਸਰੂਪ ਨੂੰ ਜਪ ਰਹੇ ਆ, as what ਭਗਤ ਜੀ would say, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰਗੁਣ ਸਰੂਪ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ। ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ Christians that Jesus Christ ne, he got crucified, right? He got put on a cross. Every single Christian carries around a cross on their neck, right? Remembering that sacrifice. ਉਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਪਾਈਆਂ, we don't remember it, right? Imagine we had like a little pendant for every single ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ that a Singh made or a Sikh made, right? Guru Sahib the cauldron ਪਾ ਦਿਓ ਜਾਂ ਤੱਤਾ ਰੇਤਾ ਪਾ ਦਿਓ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ. Like we wouldn't have space. We wouldn't have enough space around our neck for all of these symbols, right? So ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੈਗੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, it's the most precious thing, right? And there's nothing like it, right? And to the point, right, like when my son Jajar Singh was being born, right, my wife had quite a long labor and it was quite a difficult time. And at that time ਅਸੀਂ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ, right? And then Jajar Singh was born, right? But like it was quite a difficult time, and ਉਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤੀ, ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ. And at that time the radio was playing with Kirtan on it, right? And the shabd that came on as soon as he was born was Nirgun Rakh Liya Santan ka sadka Satgur tak liya mohe papi padda. And I felt like Bhagat Ji was there with his hand on her head, and Bhagat Ji had helped us out in that situation, right? Sanu papiyan nu vi tar ditta, right? Sade santan di kirpa ho ke they had saved us, right? So that was quite amazing. Yeah, but going back to that time around 10, 9, 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I'm not great with timelines, but I don't really remember the timelines. I mostly focus on the lessons, right? And I keep those. I have a really good ability to erase stuff in my mind. So I only keep like certain things in my mind. And I erase it, or it goes somewhere, and then sometimes when I need it, it comes back, right? Even like some of the teachings that like Bhagat Ji has given us, I know there's like some teachings that Bhagat Ji has given me that like I haven't unlocked yet, and there's going to be a time where it's like, oh yeah, that happened, and Bhagat Ji said that to me, and this is the answer, right? So that's something that and that's something that like it was really the Shidi jobs are very powerful. Even Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Shidi, there's like Shidi, Bhagat Ji has a whole pothi on Shidi jobs, right? Just remembering the Shidiyan, right? In a simple way, like Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Shidi is Tanhan 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 Sache Satguru Vaheguru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj. ਹੁਣ ਲੋਹੇ ਦੇ ਤੰਗ ਪਿੰਜਰੇ 'ਚ ਤਿੱਖੇ ਤੀਰਾਂ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜਪ ਜਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ. ਲਾਈਕ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਇਨ ਹਿਜ਼ ਤੰਗ ਪਿੰਜਰਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਜਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਕਰਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਐਟ ਦਿਸ ਮੋਮੈਂਟ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਤਿੱਖੇ ਤੀਰਾਂ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜਪ ਜਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ. ਹੁਣ ਸੀਸ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ ਕਰਵਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ. ਹੁਣ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਸ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਦਾਸਨ ਦਾਸੀ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ 'ਤੇ ਸੱਜ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ. And that goes back to the point we were talking about Guru Nanak Dev Ji's body, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Shri, right? Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's set is on top of our head. This is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's body. when you start thinking like, oh, this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's phone, this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's car, you're not going to do anything bad with Guru Nanak Dev Ji's car. You're not going to look up bad stuff with Guru Nanak Dev Ji's phone. You're not going to do bad stuff with Guru Nanak Dev Ji's body, right? So that's what that means, is when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's head is being put on our head, it's Hon Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji di mat apne kole, right? We are Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Sikhs. We're not going to do anything bad, right? Guru Sahib, ekta Guru Sahib apne ang sanga nala, but Guru Sahib is protecting us, but also don't do anything bad, right? So going back to that time, Bhagji came and he stayed at our house as well. They bahut zyada kirpa kiti at that time, right? Bhagji said ki he told me, he's like, let's go to your house and do a Saj Path, right? Asi puchya nahi siga, but like Bhagji knows, like, I never talk, right? मैं कदे गुरसिखां नू, like ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹੇ, like question, it's probably a really big flaw of mine, but at the same time, I've always had the feeling like ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣੀ ਹੈ, they're going to tell me, right? That's probably the wrong feeling, but in Bhagji's case, he would, right? And he was like, oh, now we're going to go to your house and do a Saj Path, right? They only maybe 1 week stay kita, and we had just so many amazing experiences in that 1 week, right? And those of you that know Bhagji, is like, it's a very unique style of living, right? Like Bhagji floor te pehna, there's Gurbani Kirtan going on at all times, not just Gurbani, it's like Gurbani, Kirtan, Katha, all these different tapes going on at the same time, right? And it's like, it's like, whoa, like, what are we even listening to? And then holi, if you stay there, right, long enough, you can hear everything individually, and it's quite a cool experience. And at that time, Bhagat Ji was writing the Kada Prasad di Maryada wali pothi, right? And they're like working very hard. Even like to this day, after the stroke, Bhagat Ji worked very, very hard every single day at the pothiyan. And like the pothiyan are a reflection of that, right? Like there's so much knowledge and gyan and all this stuff that like Bhagat Ji just like published book after book after book, not book, pothiyan, sorry, after pothi. And this is jira Sant Gurbachan Singh Ji ne var ditta si, right? Like the story they tell is like they were giving away kirpana to all the Singhs, right? And when it was Bhagat Ji's turn, they had run out, and Sant Gurbachan Singh ne unnu var ditta si ki teri kalme kirpan da kam karugi, right? And that's exactly what it did, right? And Bhagat Ji was always working very hard, like up until the end, right? Like I visited Bhagat Ji in January of this year, and they were standing there with Gurjot Singh, and they were working on their pothiyan, right? And I would probably say even probably Bhagat Ji's last day, he was doing that, right? And one of the first things that happened is there was a spider going up Babaji's back, right? Like Babaji liked to have all the doors open and stuff too, right? Like mastanne pere sige, right? Like sliding door, it was all optional, right? Whoever wanted to come in, come out, it was just how it was, right? And the spider aa gaya, right, vadda sara, and it's climbing up Babaji's back. I don't know if I was going to kill it or if I was just going to take it off. I might have been going to kill it. I don't know if Bhagat Ji even saw the spider, right? But उन्होंने मैंने रोक लिया, right? They just said, इन्हों मारना नहीं गा, and इधे वच Guru Nanak Dev Ji जो था. And not only did I not kill that spider, 10 years later, I don't think I've killed a single animal or insect or anything. Like I've been very, very careful कि इधे वच Guru Nanak Dev Ji जो था, because those words still live with me. It's like in Japji Sahib it says, Gura ek deh bajai sabna jiyan ka ek data so main visar na jai. It's that, right? Bhagat Ji was not just saying these words, he was experiencing ki Guru Nanak Dev Ji is in that spider, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is in this, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is this. This is their lived experience. It wasn't just like words like this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And in that moment, that became very clear to me as well, right? Like oh daya kiti ki now if I see an ant or spider, right, it's just leave it alone, it'll find its own way. Or if it's like really in my way, I pick it up and I take it to the side, right? That thing has never left me, right? And even one night, right, he fills up a collie with water, right, and he puts it in his eye, and it's like it's the strangest thing, right? Like, why is he taking a collie and putting it in his eye, right? Then he looks at me and he's like, "Hey, jal japarya," right? It's like jal japarya, right? Like he's seeing like the water like doing simran, and it was just like, wow, jal bhi japarya, right? And then like even like Bhakti wanted to like just give us as much as he could, right? Help as many people as he possibly could. Like ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, right? And like the back of our ਖੇਤ is probably like maybe 500 meters from our house. So Bhakti walks to the back ਉੱਥੇ ਦਰਖਤ ਹੈਗੇ, and he's sitting under the ਦਰਖਤ, right? And the neighbors on the backside, like I don't know who they are, right? I've never seen them before. Like if I met them and they're like, yeah, I'm your neighbors, I would be like, I wouldn't know. And ਉੱਥੋਂ ਗੋਰੀ ਆਈ, right? ਗੋਰੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, right? Who goes like, especially in this day and age, and gives someone like water just like that, right? They're sitting there, like no one does that, right? And especially this day and age. In some countries, maybe yes, but in Canada, no one really does that anymore, right? Like they're like, oh, you mind your business, we'll mind our business, right? But ਉਹ ਗੋਰੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਲ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, right? Like they tell her like, listen to Gurbani, listen to this, right? Like Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they tell her, and yeah, this Pai Simandeep Singh told me this. Like I wasn't there at the back at that time, but the Gori brings them water, and then, like in my mind, I'm like, I've never spoken to this Gori before. I've never seen her, never talked to her. But Pakji just has this way of like just attracting people to him, right? Like just attracting them so that like I don't know ਜੇ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਟਰੈਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਨ ਦ ਸੈਂਸ ਕਿ ਲਾਈਕ ਇਹ ਲੇਡੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਲਾਈਕ ਇਹਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਭਲਾ ਕਰਨਾ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਔਰ ਲਾਈਕ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਫॉर ਹਰ, ਔਰ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਥਾਟ ਇਨ ਹਿਸ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਲ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਐਂਡ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੈਂਟ them ਜਲ. I don't know what it was, but I just found that like that lady had no business giving them water, no business going to them. ਤੇ ਉਹ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗਈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਐਂਡ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਲ ਛਕਾਇਆ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਹੋਈ, ਰਾਈਟ? that's it's just like amazing, right? And then one night Babaji is just walking and he's not sleeping, right? And he seems quite restless, and you can tell like Babaji is like restless, he's not sleeping. And the whole night he doesn't sleep, right? And then when we wake up, right, my mom asks Babaji, is like, tusi raat sutte nahi, right? Like what's going on, is everything okay? And Babaji's like, Sant Gurbachan Singh ji ne raat darshan ditte sige te wo bahut khush sige. And like for us, we were just like like blown away, right? On ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, they tell us Baba Ji has Sant Kartar Singh Ji, ਦਸਾਂ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਦੇ darshan all the time, right? Like it's just something that happens, right? And for us it was like, wow, like that's unbelievable. ਤੇ ਸੰਤ ਗੁਰਬਚਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਵਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ we will be with you at all times, right? Like ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ whenever you want, because ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਰਿਕਾਰਡਿੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ, that's a ਮਹਾਨ ਸੇਵਾ, right? ਸਾਰੇ the whole world will now know the true arths of Guru Granth Sahib Ji for the rest of time based on that recording, right? And that was the first ever recorded katha of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And recording at that time was very difficult, right? Like as we hear, like although bijli bhi nahi mildi sigi, like whatever, Bhakt Ji ladi var katha, he didn't let it stop, right? The Guru Sahib di bahut kirpa Bhakt Ji te bhi hegi hai, but what Bhakt Ji was just unbelievable. And the fact that in Toronto in Canada we get to experience that is, I honestly feel like, you know, I always talk about like we're so lucky to live in Toronto with such great sangat. Even after going to India, I feel like that. I feel like we are so lucky that sadi sangat is strong, right? Bhakt Ji has such a major role in that. It is, without Bhakt Ji, this sangat would not be nearly what it is. So ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਸੀ ਲਾਈਕ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਸੀ, ਮੇਬੀ ਅ ਵੀਕ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਨਾਓ ਇਮੈਜਿਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੰਨਾ, ਲਾਈਕ ਬਾਬਾ ਜਵਾਹਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੀ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘ 10 years 15 years ਰਹੇ ਆ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ, I can't even imagine what they are, right? And Bhagat Ji, when they were leaving, उन्होंने ये बचन, I don't know if they were leaving or when they were there, but उन्होंने ये बचन किया सी कि ये Guru Nanak Dev Ji the house like where we are, this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's house, and they were like, Singhs will come and go almost like as they please, right? Like you won't even know ki kede Singh aaya. And that's exactly what happened. Like in the following years, like Singhs aunde sige, jande sige. Like before that, no Singhs had come and stayed at our house. Like we didn't know any Singhs, and like my dad was a Monna for most of his life, on Amritari Singha, but there were Singhs coming and going, and our basement was full of Singhs, like 30, 40 Singhs at a time, and it was quite the time. It was a very fun time. And even ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੁਣ ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਗ੍ਰੈਪਲਿੰਗ ਸਿੰਘਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਯੰਗ ਸਿੰਘਸ ਹੁਣ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਹਾਊਸ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਐਂਡ we live like that, right? Like we have no power to like do that, but Bhagat Ji ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਨਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਹਾਊਸ ਵਾਕਈ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ, right? And the last time I saw Bhagat Ji was last time I had bachan, like was able to talk to them, was January 19th of this year, 2025. ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੇਰੀ how old are you now, right? He hadn't seen me in a few years, and I said now I'm 30 years old, and he's like very good, right? He was very happy, and then he's like, how many kids do you have? And I was like 2 kids, and then he asked me their age. I was like 4 and 7 months, and he was like very happy, right? He's like bahut vadiya chaddi kala. And I had gone to Baba Ji for one purpose, right? Like I made my mind up कि like I'm gonna ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਹੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਜਨਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਨਿਬੇੜ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ, ਇਸ ਜਨਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਐਂਡ one thing I realized is ਕਿ you can't do that without ਨਿਮਰਤਾ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ, right? And you can't have that without nimrata and gribi. And Bhakt Ji, what they did was they lived their whole life like that, right? With nimrata and gribi, and they had that, right? And that's one of the things like Baba Nand Singh Ji says is like there's 3 roops of Guru Sahib, right? Guru Gobind Singh Ji says I have 3 roops, right? Nirgun, Sargun, and Gur Shabd. And Sant Baba Nand Singh Ji says there's also a 4th roop, which is nimrata, right? It's the jewel of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's house is nimrata, and that's something that Bhakt Ji had. Bhakt Ji always lived in gribi, right? Accepting hukam, considering everything as Guru Sahib, right? Everything as Guru Sahib's daat or as Guru Sahib. And in my mind I thought ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਜਨਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ? ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਤ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ, right? And that sant in my mind, Bhakt Ji came, ਕਿ Bhakt Ji is the one to go to, right, for this. And at that time Bhakt Ji ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਬਚਨ ਕਹੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ ਦੀ ਟੇਪ ਆ, I never told Bhakt Ji this, again I never asked Bhakt Ji for anything, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਸੀ they just told us, right? So this was their last gift to me. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਗੁਰਬੰਸ ਸਾਵਲੀ ਵਾਲੀ ਪੋਥੀ ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ ਨਾਲ ਪਲੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪੋਥੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ 10-10 ਵਾਰੀ ਸੁਣਨਾ, ਐਂਡ 101 ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ ਦੇ ਆਡੀਓ ਨਾ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ. And the funny thing is, like even before going to see Bhakt Ji, I was thinking like in all the time that I've known Bhakt Ji and all the times that I've visited them, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਦੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ. Like they would do ਅਰਦਾਸ for like everyone, like this person that ਚਾਹ ਛੜਾ ਦੋ, this person they do 1,000 squats or 100,000 squats or this many namaskar or whatever, right? Bhakt Ji would do like that, and all the time Bhakt Ji had never done that for me, right? That was my thought going in, right? And as soon as I walked in, Baba Ji ਨੇ ਇਹ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਾਈ ਸੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਪੂਰੇ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ, ਐਂਡ ਵੀ ਕੈਨ ਡੂ ਦਿਸ, ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਆਵੇ, ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਣ ਭਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਐਂਡ I look back at those memories and I just smile. I think back at Bhakt Ji and just everything he was and is, right? Like when I visited the Asthan after they had passed away, like I didn't feel like Bhakt Ji wasn't there. I felt like he was there, right? Like you go and you Bhakt Ji's recording is playing, like ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਪੋਥੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ. I was listening to their pothi yesterday. ਜਿੰਨੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, there's more than enough out there that we can't even do those in a lifetime, right? So ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਰੀਏ. Let's see what we can do in this lifetime, right? And my most cherished memory of Bhagji is when we were at the hospital after their first stroke, right? And those of you that don't know Bhagji before their stroke, right? Bhagji was so strong. Bhagji had a grip of death, right? Heck, then we weren't listening to Bhagji because the doctors were telling us Bhagji needs rest and ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਰੱਖਣਾ, ਰੈਸਟ ਕਰਾਉਣੀ ਹੈ, right? They had just had a stroke and Bhagji was like, I want to move, get me out of here, take me to 7th Parliament Hill. Bhagji used to call it 7 Heaven, right? 7th Heaven, Parliament Hill. And Bhagji was like, you guys aren't listening to me, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ. And Bhagji grabbed my dadi so hard, right? And Bhagji, you could not get his hand off. He probably hit me a few times too. Bhagji never hit or never done anything like that, right? So I don't know. But at that moment, right, I felt like you only hit someone who you feel close to, right? ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, right? And I felt so happy that Bhagji feels like I felt like I was very close with Bhagji at that moment, right? ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦੀ and Bhagji was so strong, man. Even with one side, right side, the other side wasn't working. If he grabbed hold of you weren't getting away. And ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਆਪਾਂ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਕੇ, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਕੇ, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹਾਂ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੋਣਾ. ਐਂਡ when we listen to Guru Sahib's hukum, things will be in our favor. If we don't, they won't be in our favor, right? So ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਮੰਨੀਏ, ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰੀਏ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਸਿੰਘ, if you guys want to train, right, we are going to make each other better, right? Let's push each other, let's get better, let's get going, let's not be lazy, right? Let's push ourselves, right? It takes just as much time to push yourself as it does to be lazy, right? So let's push ourselves. Even ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਵੀ ਆ. ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਦਾਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਪਰ ਹੋਰ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ. let's do this, man. ਆਪਾਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੋਈਏ, ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਿ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤਾਕਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ. they are the Singhs of the past, right? So let's work on that. ਅਤੇ ਦਾਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ, ਮਿਸਇੰਟਰਪ੍ਰੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ. ਆਪਦੇ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਦੇ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਇਹ ਬਚਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ, ਰਾਈਟ. I've done them according to what I know and what I do, which is not a lot. So again, forgive me. ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ I should have asked for forgiveness before starting this talk, but forgive me for all the mistakes I've made. And Bhagat ji, I just want to say I love you and thank you for everything that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀਤਾ. We can't give it back, right? We love you so much, right? ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਸੇਜ 'ਤੇ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, I love you so much. I love you so much, ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. And these aren't I'm not getting sad because Babaji is not here in a physical form with us, right? This is different, right? This is those kind of this is that. It's not sadness. It's, when someone, you see those videos on YouTube where someone it's emotional, right? When someone gives a new house or a new car, right? That's how I feel, right? I feel overwhelmed with how much Babaji has given me. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ.
ਤਨ ਮਨ ਜਿੰਦ ਜਾਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਰੱਖ.
Or you, mister.
How are you, mister?
You are my sister. Huh? Je tenu kਹੇ ਨਾ. Je tenu ਕਹੇ you are my friend. ਤੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਾਈ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਨਾਈਸ ਬੋਏ ਪੋਇਮ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਜਾਨ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਚੇਤਨ ਸਤਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਆ ਦੇਖਣ ਦੀ ਜੋਤ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਆ ਬਸ ਬਣ ਜੇ ਦਸਾਂ ਪਾਸ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਰਹੀ ਜੁੜੀ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
ਵਾਹੋ ਵਾਹੋ ਬਾਣੀ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਸੱਚ ਮਿਲਾਵਾ ਹੋਏ ਨਾਨਕ ਵਾਹੋ ਵਾਹੋ ਕਰਤਿਆ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਪਾਇਆ ਕਰਮ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੋ